And yo, what is up? Once again, we got FairGrow coming through here. We got Thursday Thc Theatre. Another week's gone by. Hope everything is doing fine, fancy. You're feeling healthy. You're feeling free. You are advocating for the culture. What I thought I'd do. It's been a busy week. Been flat out at uni and all this stuff, but it's pretty cool. Getting in back to the mode of knowledge, reading. But I come across this interview with the old man legend, Bobby S. Marley. So it was pretty decent. I just found it this morning, so I thought I'd play those, and you can see the great highlight kind of mindset that he had back then in 1979 interview taking place, just to see the ideals that he had come forward still pivotal to this day, and kind of things that have changed, things that haven't changed. This is what 40 years ago, so more than a generation. Great man passed, but we'll get into it. It's an interview with him in New Zealand from 1979. So much peace. Let's check this out.
Like many Rastas, Bob Marley talks in a thick Jamaican patois, which at times is difficult to understand. He starts out talking about reggae music.
Yeah, Jamaican people play it. Yeah, it's like a musician from Jamaica play that music, And like a musician from, you might find a black musician from America play the funk or blues, And people don't play reggae music.
Can it be copied quite successfully outside of Jamaica?
Well, it's a way I feel about the music. It can be copied, but it's not copied to it. It's the feel, It carry a feel where if you ask plenty musicians, them know it, but them can't do it. So people still searching for this truth here, which this reggae music, bring across to them. And the only purpose it serves is to tell the people about Rastafari.
Did you always intend being just a reggae musician, or had you played rock music and soul music before?
In that sense, we really listen to a lot of music, first time. Just to listen to music that play on the radio. Not that we couldn't afford to buy a record, so we listen to the radio. And anything the radio play is that we hear. So I wasn't really into them things. I was really into I call it spiritual music, till it get more revelation.
What you mean you can't understand me things saying, man? This man's speech be direct and straight. You must be hearing every
I've been a
word he's saying
Rasta
and
from ever
clear, man.
since,
Clear. It's coming through clear every time.
But it's not how long I've been a Rasta, it's how long it takes to grow up. Because what he is what he is from beginning to the end. You can never change because if you even adapt things later out, you and filter right out. So we're just Rasta from creation. It's not an easy thing to explain in an educated standard way. Still you have people who can do it. But me is a common sense man. That means when me explain things, me explain it in a very simple way. That means if I explain it to a baby, the baby will understand too. So we rest now, like the Bible. The Bible says, God same shall return as the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the conqueror line of a tribe of Judah. And him shall come in a new name. And this new name shall be dreadful among the heathen.
How important are the dreadlocks?
This
Is that part
my
of being
identity,
a Rasta?
man. Yeah, this is my identity.
Do you have to have dreadlocks if you're a Rasta?
But if he's a Rasta, then you wouldn't say why you shouldn't have it, because then you don't know freedom is freedom and you don't have to bow, you do whatever you like. But it's not a thing to say, well, I would like to be a Rasta, but I wouldn't like to have this. You dig?
Mm.
It can't be a thing like that. It have to be a fullness where you yourself know that it's God creator and I don't want no life, no obligation. That means you own man. That's the first time you own yourself. You do what you want to do. Anything people want to say about you, you don't care because, you know what I mean? even them who say still have a comeback, you see them having to do the same.
Perhaps the most
That's a pretty huge point there. Just to stop and reflect on it. You don't have to wear dread to be Rasta. Rasta comes from your heart. The feeling, the natural feeling of being completely free within the creation which we, have been created, not to taint it with our own uh, wants, minds, needs and things like this, to be fully, as you said, fully accepting of all the realms of that's been created in our reality, not to just harness and go on one thing and say one thing is the best. We've all been created. So we all have rights. We're all living creatures, and this goes from plants, animals, sea creatures, molecules in the sea, rocks, tree, all this shit. It's all, and it's all part and parcel of one, like it comes back, and a lot of these people reflect into saying that it's all one, the kind of, the vibration that the initial or kind of, what's that, the most, what would you call it? Just the most refined point of something, and that final vibration, they might call it the nucleus of the atom, that makes up everything. So, and to say that it's all in one ecosystem, other things we survive on each other, and through one good thing, I was seeing that save the soil. Through the soil, like through death, actually, death becomes life through soil. That's the only kind of place where it will happen too. It's pretty deep, and don't you got to turn back to nature and realize how good it is. But let's follow on with the man.
most controversial aspect of Rastafarianism is the use of marijuana as a central part of the philosophy. Officially named ganja, it's colloquially described by the Rastas as herb, and Bob Marley is said to smoke a pound a week. It's outlawed in Jamaica, and a convicted smoker can expect an 18-month jail sentence.
Cool. So if we do that, let's just go, I said add here. So we'll, just on that point, what did you say, a pound a week? So 16 ounces, or as they would say in Jamaica, ounce, 16 ounce. So 16 ounce here smoke in 1 week. It's approximately 2 ounces a day. That's pretty dramatic, a lot of people will probably say. But, to him, it's a beautiful thing, and it's inspiring, spiritual. And it might not be kind of cone by cone. It could be teas, drinks, all sorts of things.
Herb is the more you accept Rastafari.
Yeah, man.
You're gonna say, we who accept herb. Herb is important, but herb is more important to the people who don't accept it yet, because that is the reality. I mean, it's not selling selling is something that you crave, but you check it in your sense and say, herb. Herb is a plant. I mean, herbs are good for everything. Why these people who want to do so much good for everyone, who call themselves governments and
Right.
this and that,
Listen.
why them say you must not use the herb? You see? And we check that and we can't find, we just see them just say, no, you must use it. But
It's a really huge point there once again. Why these authorities, governing powers, people who are, what's the word, recognized for their qualifications, as they get up and talk, they are all about doing the good for everybody, so the general good for the consensus of people in society. Why are those people so opposed to this plant? It's a really good question, and he was posing that in 1979. Still to this day, we could be posing that question. Why do these people in the governing authorities and positions of power, who do have the kind of general stereotype that they're out there to do good for the the masses? Why is there protest to this plant? It's very, very strange. I'm sure there would be many reasons, but economic would probably be a basis of one of them.
Is it because it make you rebel? Against what? Against men who won't crave, because them crave for the things like say, well, them have some material things and them want to captivate your mind and tell you, say, well, you have to work and put you on pension and him keep it all. So Herb make you look for yourself, and instead of you want to work for the man, you want to be one of the man too. Not in the sense of how him is, but in the sense of why should you have to bow to these things?
Do you have to smoke to be a Rasta?
No, man. But in this time, I mean, like, for instance, you're reaching a sense where you're strong enough, can take a little smoke. So when all them car pass, although you live in the city, you don't hear it because you're thinking. Differently if you just live so. Then, you know what I mean, the whole world confused you and you're worried and you don't have no time to think. And herb is a thing that give you a little time for yourself so you can live if you use it.
What about alcohol?
Alcohol make you drunk, man. It don't make you meditate. It just make you drunk. When you drink alcohol, you don't meditate. You're more get-headed. Herb is more a consciousness.
It must create problems for you, though, when you go different parts of the world where perhaps it's outlawed, as it were.
Well, it's just like what we're saying is that I don't care. This is the people who make it outlaw. It's about a few. Majority of the people on the earth want it. And it's just a few because guns and prisons and bad life treat you bad. So people kind of... But we want some people power. And the only people power is Rastafari.
Essentially, Marley's a quiet man. A difficult man to reach because he's got no interest in the hype vibe, which preoccupies so many rock stars. He upset many New Zealand journalists by refusing interviews. Not because of a sudden whim, but because really he isn't interested in that type of thing.
Media. You see, if I run a newspaper, I would do a lot of interviews because what I want to say, I would get it across. But when I talk to someone who have to go to someone, and then I'm hesitant to fit up their business, and if it's too militant, them try to spread a type of propaganda. I mean, media, you know, the media, you know.
That's a really huge point there. I'd probably just like to think about too, you know, the fact that he's not interested in kind of the fame and the hype and all these things like that, but the mentality of somebody who's kind of the creator of a newspaper. That's all they're about. They want to hear hype. That's all it is. Reporting stories to try and stories in a way focused on such topics which would help your train of thought and maybe your ideology on the way of life. And so you can see this happening. So it's good to hear him speak out against it. His message comes through the music for freedom and just like common sense. You know what I mean? So,
No, media is a different game. Media is a media control.
You were badly hurt once because of what seemed to be some sort of political type shooting in your home country, Jamaica. Do you see dabbling in politics a good idea for someone in your position?
Well, is it dabbling politics? I don't know what that is. You see, stand up and talk for my rights. I know what that is. See? And I don't care who the guy is. Because my right is my right, like my life. All I have is my life. That means if I can say,
Yeah, sorry to stop you there, but that's a huge actual point there again. Like to dabble in political or to dabble in politics, he was completely opposed to that. So that would be somebody who is, a short-lived mentality to bring forth some notions, some thoughts, some quotes that will, help his the train of thought or the little um, ideals that he wishes to push forward, rather than he's Bob Marley saying he's standing up for his right to live and his essence of humanity, creation, spirit, being. Um, as opposed to someone who would be trying to spark these thoughts, but just uh, not have a complete onus and dependence on your whole entity and ideals coming through. It's more just to keep keep the status quo going or benefit you in a little way, a subsequential um, something which is not too critical to you. It's you could live without it, and I'm sure that you don't really bother when you go home. Whereas opposed to this is his whole life. He's putting it all out there, trying to tell people that this is reality. So it's a huge thing. Much peace, big dog. Haley Goots, Cones coming through. Just listen to this great man. Like as I said before, it's 1979. He's having this interview. His thoughts coming through, but they're still relevant to this day, like majorly. Go back to him. Where is he, Mr. Bob? He's only a minute to go.
I don't want that or I don't want this. When I check it out, the biggest man was a baby one time. So I don't know when get all of these big ideas want to be rulers over people. See? And help enforce devilism. Can't dig it. Can't take it. We're rebel, man. We're revolutionaries. You know?
Is that the way you'd see yourself?
Yeah, I see myself as a revolutionary who don't have no help and not take no bribe from no one to fight it single-handed with music. Rasta is the future. See? Yes. Rasta is the future. See?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. As he would say, that's beautiful. That's huge. There wasn't no joke about that. His essence, his ideals still live on, absolutely and truly and purely through not just his music, the way of life, and Rasta isn't that stereotype of the rebellious ganja man who's just stoned out of his head. Even there was a few other documentaries. The Australian George Negus coming through, and the way that they were wording it was quite shameful. I guess it was back in these 80s and stuff like that, but they were trying to put him across as a stoned out of his head, his mind. His ideas are nonsense, and he's just daydreaming. But he had absolute solid thought, which was so. Like it had so much common sense to it, and to like it would be able to put it into play, and it would bring about some sort of change for the better, rather than just ideals and ideas to float around, argue with each other, debate, put into play, and then have it crumble, and then have to think of something else, and just keep on going in a society government like that. So much peace to the man, much peace to you and each and everyone. Keep healthy, keep happy, keep right, keep smart. Knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everybody, as they say. Ganja is the greatest gift given, so let's represent that. And you know what I'm saying? Nah, everybody out there, I really appreciate you all coming through. Like I'm really about kind of intellectual mind and like actual thoughts which will build solid foundation for a place of longevity and progression and positivity professionally too, rather than just venting. I'm coming with ideas to talk and not really take any steps towards it. We've all got intelligence. We need to put these ideas together, common sense, then push forward, push right. Don't like believe in yourself. Try not to be distracted by there's so much out there. People trying to push you down like all the time. I'm coming in more and more as I go into uni. Just like people, just really, I can see that obviously really upset with their life, and when they were youths, nothing come through maybe for them. So they just, walking into me and trying to just be really argumentative and really immature. But, not to say what, we are here, we're being free, we got our mind. Hey, easy done, Buttercup. Thanks for coming through with support. I mean that, I sincerely mean that. Like, it's been a long time. I'm still young, and it's, my third decade of life. Maybe even the first two, I didn't really took a lot for granted. I was doing a lot of stuff that people would be really surprised with, and kind of just like, well, it is what it is. I didn't go around really hurting anybody. I thought it was what it was, but just to realize and see how things go down in the standpoints in a lot of these governing bodies, they go back on themselves, like they're out there saying, as they said before, these people are out there to try and do the good, the general good for everybody. Why are they so prohibited against this plant? Like, why are they so protest? Like, why are they protesting at this plant with such heavy nonsense? But anyway, we all know that. Keep your mind up, keep straight. Much peace. I gotta see you guys on Monday. I'm coming through the music on a Monday. I really, really appreciate all your fucking support. It means a lot. We're gonna grow and keep going this way, man. So keep healthy. Just keep you looking inside yourself. Find your direction. Follow that path. Be the best you can be. Be honest. And most of all, be yourself.